Another night where I try to flee these pain-filled eyes. A red man stands by my side. He says, son, don't you know I can make you fly? Lean a little closer and I'll tell you a secret. Let us make a deal, now you can take it or leave it. Well, I only...
Welcome back to another episode of BSing Sports. Bill's here with me as always, and I guess Tim's going to be here with me always too.
I'm not fired, guys. I'm not fired.
Yeah, no, we did not follow through on our commitment to fire Tim. We decided that, we'll give him another chance. He screwed everything up last show. We'll give him another chance this show. But first, we have two guests we want to introduce. First of all, we have Matthew Kaiser. Welcome, Matthew.
What's up, guys?
Okay, so who's your favorite team?
The Browns, the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. And you have been removed from the show. No, I'm just kidding.
You're fired.
But yeah, Matthew is my brother-in-law, for those of you that don't know. Thank you for coming on the show, Matthew. And our next guest, we have Peter Trushinsky. What's up, Pete?
What's up, everybody?
Who's your favorite team?
Minnesota Vikings.
Hell yeah. So obviously you guys know we're covering the AFC and the NFC North today. It was only fitting to bring on two guests, one to represent each, a team from each division. Let's jump right into it, though, because we do have a lot to cover, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Bill, give me a rundown of what you think of the Steelers this year.
Obviously, in the draft in the first round, they go and get Kenny Pickett out of Pitt. He's not the starter as of yet. I feel like probably by halfway through the season, maybe week 8, week 9, depending on how Trubisky has been performing at that point, that we'll see Kenny Pickett come in. But they're a 9-8 team at best for me. I think they stay on the winning side because Tomlin has, I believe, just one losing season his entire career there. So he stays on the winning side of that. Zero. So it's 0. There you go. And I believe that they stay with that. However, the Ravens and Bengals are really going to run away with this division, in my opinion, this season, especially because Watson is suspended. So yeah, give me the Steelers at 9-8, third in the division.
Tim, what's your take on the Steelers this year?
I had the Steelers going 9-8 also, actually.
Get your own opinions.
Jesus. On our way to being fired again.
They signed Mr. Trubisky last year for a 2-year deal to get Kenny Pickett going. I think what Bill said is true. I think Kenny Pickett's going to take over after week 8, week 9, something like that. Like Bill also said, Mike Tomlin, he'd never had a losing season. I don't think it's going to start now. But I have them third in the division also.
Matthew, you're itching to speak, so I'll save you for last. Pete, why don't you go ahead and give us your light take on the Steelers here? I know you're more of an NFC guy, but it's always nice to have an opinion.
Light take on the Steelers. They're going second in the division.
See? Hot take, ladies and gentlemen. Hot take.
Sir. No, they are not, sir.
He said second in the division.
Behind the Bengals.
Okay, so how many wins do you think the Steelers are going to get?
I think they get 11.
Woo!
Okay, Matt. What do you think of the Steelers this year?
So I actually have the Steelers sitting third at 10-7. The big thing for me is they got their two big guys back, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and then they just picked up George Pickens as well, right, out of Georgia on the second round. So that with Kenny Pickett starting week 3 when Mitch Trubisky drops the first 3. I actually have them going 10-7. You got TJ Watt, last season sack leader over there. And like you guys said, Mike Tomlin, great leader. I think that they actually pick up the last wild card spot. I think we have another AFC North. 2 wild cards are both going to AFC North again this year. Or I think it was 2 years ago when that happened. So that's where I'm going with the Steelers here, guys.
I just don't see second in the division, regardless of however you want to twist it and turn it. I just can't see them going second in the division. The Bengals and Ravens are both better than them.
So here's the thing, and we're gonna get to the Ravens here in a second. I got the Ravens going last. The Ravens, while they have JK coming back, both Gus Edwards and Mike Davis are hurt right now and on injury reserve, and they have an all brand new wide receiver core. Of course, Lamar Jackson's a beast, but if he stays healthy, then there's a possibility of them going above them. But I am going to be 100% honest. I do not see them beating out the Steelers or the Browns. I see them going forward. They're going to come last in the division.
Okay. Well, I actually agree with the record. I also think 10-7, but I'm a third in the division guy. Not by much though. The team I have above them, I got with 11 wins. Do you want to show the comment, Bill? My computer is being super slow. There we go. Ken also believes 10-7, second in the division. That's interesting because, obviously the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl last year, but we'll get to them eventually. We're going reverse order this time. Matt, Ravens. What do you got?
Yeah, like I said, Ravens. I have them going 9-8. This is going to be the worst season that they've had in a long time. While like I said, J.K. Dobbins is coming back. He's going to have a comeback year. He's going to be a great running back like he was. He was pretty much in basketball, his sixth man. He was the sixth man. His first season, I believe it was. But like I said, the backup running backs and the receiver issues. I mean, Marquise Brown's gone. Lamar hasn't had a season without Marquise in so long. The only real person that he has that he can completely count on, in my opinion, is Mark Andrews, which all of us know Mark Andrews is a complete beast, but he is also 32 years old, I believe, 33 years old. So I'm telling you, I really see them coming in last this year. But like I said, 9-8, AFC North is going to be very close behind the AFC West as far as the records are concerned.
Okay. Pete?
Yeah, I also have them going last. I think they're going to be going back and forth. I think they're going to beat the Jets, lose to the Dolphins, beat the Patriots, lose to the Bills, lose to the Bengals, beat the Giants, beat the Browns, and then it's just going to be back and forth. 9-8 is the number, I think.
Man, we got some hot takes over here. Last in the division. 2 last in the divisions for the Ravens, who, if I'm not mistaken, took second place in this division last year.
Was it that hot if 2 out of 5 people are saying it?
I mean, I figured with Deshaun Watson missing, I'm my own last. Anyway, Tim, go ahead.
So I have the Ravens going 11-6, second in the division.
11-6.
So Lamar Jackson is fully healthy. They have JK coming back. The biggest problem now, Lamar Jackson does not have a contract yet. And I think if he sits out, they're going to be last in the division. Gus Edwards coming back. He's a good backup running back for J.K. Dobbins. The running back by committee over there in Baltimore. I think Lamar gonna make a great connection with Bateman. Mm-hmm. And I think they're gonna be good this year. Second in division, 11-6, and they're taking a wild card spot.
Is Gus Edwards back?
Yes.
Because last I read, he was still on injury reserve. As far as what I just read. Okay.
He's on the top list.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I got the Ravens at 10-7. Second in the division behind the Bengals. Bengals taking the division, in my opinion. Healthy Lamar Jackson is going to be the key, regardless of whether he sits out contract negotiations and talks. And I understand all of that stuff. What's going to matter is whether or not he's healthy for more like a majority of the season. I know Huntley came in and did a pretty good job in his stead last year, but he's not Lamar Jackson. Yes, I understand Hollywood Brown is gone. Mark Andrews is actually 26 years old, not 32 years old, so he's still young.
Is he that young?
Yes. Born 1995.
Yeah. So he's still got a lot of life on him.
Wow.
People believe we've seen him in his prime already, and I'm going to disagree and say that it probably actually starts this season, as good as he's already been. Mark Andrews is going to, because as you already pointed out, Hollywood Brown is no longer there. Now, Rashad Bateman is there, and he has shown really good chemistry with Lamar Jackson early in camp. And I know I don't really like to take camp into account and be like, oh, camp is going to totally translate to games. And I get it. It doesn't usually do that. But there is something to be said about chemistry between a wide receiver and a quarterback in camp. And I do believe that. So for me, 10-7, second in the division.
I really thought Mark Andrews was right with Travis Kelce as far as age is concerned. That
No,
really baffles me.
Kelce's much older, yeah.
Yeah, Kelce's 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Ravens going 11-6, second in the division as well. This was actually a tougher pick for me than usual. The way that I look at it is last year they lost three quarters of their secondary to season-ending injuries. Marlon Humphrey missed a lot of time. Jimmy Smith missed a lot of time. Both of their starting and backup running backs went down before a snap even took off in the regular season. So there was a lot of key pieces, and what the Ravens really rely on missing last year. So I think all of that coming back relatively healthy. I like Rashad Bateman. I think he's a better receiver than Hollywood talent-wise. However, I do think that it will take some time for them to gel in game with game speed going on and whatnot. But I think that's, when you're talking between two teams that look very evenly matched on paper, you got to critique, the finest details. So I do definitely believe that the Ravens will be second behind the next team that we are talking about. I'm going to start with Pete because I like to shake things up. The Bengals. How do we have the Bengals going here, Pete?
Bengals, easy first place in the division. 13-4, 14-3, one of the two.
14 wins. Okay.
They got offensive line help that they needed.
Yeah.
Another year under the belt. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Those are just my guys. They're just going to keep getting better.
Yeah. I mean, that's not an incorrect statement. All right, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, you still have Joe Mixon, who's still playing at a pretty high level. You've got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd also rounding out that wide receiver core. I believe they picked up TJ Uzmanzada for tight end in the offseason, which is an upgrade over who they had last year.
They picked up Hayden Hurst, bro.
Yeah.
That name was
I'm sorry.
out of there.
Hayden Hurst.
Get your facts straight.
So for me, I don't have them winning 14 games. They are not going to win 14 games, in my opinion. I've got them at 12-5, returning.
Get your own opinion.
Huh?
Get your own opinion.
Last time I checked, this was my show that you have joined, meaning it's my opinion that matters. But again, 12-5 Bengals. They're the returning AFC champions, and they're going to make another good run. Their offense is probably going to be top 5 in the AFC.
Timmy, why don't you deliver your take that you kind of already gave away for everybody?
I got the Bengals coming at 12-5, first in division. Hot take: I think T. Higgins is going to finish over Jamar Chase and fantasy-wise.
As far as hot takes go, that's pretty freezing cold, but I agree.
They're coming off a Super Bowl loss, so I think they want to get back there. They're going to be hungry to get back there. I think they're going to make it again. Well, I'm not going to say make it, but they're going to make the playoffs at least. So that's all that really matters. The offensive line is getting healthy again for them. They upgraded them. They were one of the worst offensive lines last year, and they still made it to the Super Bowl.
I think they were like PFF, like bottom 3. Like they were awful last year.
They were terrible.
And
Joe Burrow got sacked more than any other quarterback in the league.
Correct,
exactly.
yeah.
So they upgraded their offensive line so much this year in the offseason free agency. So I think that really benefits them a lot.
Yeah, where they upgraded in offensive line play, though, I feel like they didn't. I feel like it was, everybody that could have overachieved did. I mean, the Bengals were 24th in plays run last year and 9th in points scored. They were a huge, essentially boomer bust offense. So I don't expect that same kind of efficiency this year. I think that we'll see some regression, and maybe not as many big plays, but I do think that this offense, is well-rounded enough between Joe Mixon, the top 3 wide receivers of Boyd, Higgins, and Chase, which you can argue is the best wide receiver trio in football. They're just dynamic on offense, and that'll make up for the fact that it doesn't sound like Jesse Bates has any intention of playing under the franchise tag, yet he's not been traded yet. So we'll see how that situation unfolds. However, I got them winning 13 games. I think they comfortably take the AFC North. I think Zach Taylor's probably the most criminally underrated coach who led one of, everybody talks about how Joe Burrow being healthy led the turnaround of this team, but Zach Taylor, man, went from 5 wins in season 1 to going to a Super Bowl last year in season 2. That that's incredible. So hats off to him.
Let's get a shout out to Nebraska for Zach Taylor.
Yeah, shout out to Nebraska for Zach Taylor. Pete gets any chance to talk about Nebraska in a positive way, I'm sure that he'll do it. That being said, look, quite literally last but not least, we're going to talk about the Browns. I think the general consensus listening to everybody is that they will finish in last. But, Matt, why don't you go ahead and lead off with your team?
I mean, if I'm going to lead off, obviously this is the team that I have the most notes about, so it's going to take me a second here. So I have the Browns actually. And this is a hot take. So Jacoby Brissett is a hell of a quarterback as far as when his time at the Colts. If you